They are, first of all, I think you present an extremely credible case that we are not alone. I think 1,000 people are supporting you, at least on that DVD. It was 400, it must be. I personally, as an educated, fairly engaged person, have no argument with that. I think it's more small-minded to think we are alone. Secondly, the point has been raised again and again that we are still struggling with the reality of our planet being populated by BS bastards and bozos in all the wrong places, and that's a problem I don't think we can fix tonight. It's been with us for 1,000 years, just like the ETs, and we're just going to have to work with it. My question to you, people who are so passionate about the presence and the possibilities of the ET realities, and I'm speaking here as a journalist, how can I have a close encounter with these people or these beings? And do you? If you're so convinced of the presence as I am, there's got to be an impetus to communicate with them. However that can be managed, perhaps they don't have a language like we do. What are you doing to foster an interaction? Because I think that the real excitement of the planet would be engaged if there was also an ET at the front desk here that we could relate to. And just seeing all these talking heads again and again, it's just driving me crazy. I mean, I just want to get on the plane or the spaceship and go there, and I don't know how to do that. And I feel obligated as a journalist to make that effort. Can you help me get to the other side?
It's a very good question. I want to make a comment. The original project was a disclosure project, the parent organization, CSETI, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and it started as a project to go out to areas where these objects were being reported and using various types of telemetry and reconnaissance, contact them. And we made that happen, and it did happen. This is how we first got on the radar screen of the head of Army Intelligence and the CIA director and people like that. I've only touched 0.001% of what we're dealing with tonight. So it's a very good question, and it can be done. I encourage you to go to disclosureproject.org and look into that. The other point I'd like to make is that we have confirmation. I'm not going to give the name yet because we're trying to coax this guy out of the closet. But one of the senior-most people in the SETI project, which is the Carl Sagan Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence effort, has confirmed to the Disclosure Project, this is one of the senior-most people, that they have received multiple extraterrestrial signals, communicative signals, but that now they are getting external human, probably NRO, National Reconnaissance Officer, or NSA jamming of those signals, and they're getting very frustrated. The question is, why hasn't the SETI project, funded by Paul Allen, who's the co-founder of Microsoft, come forward with this information? I'm a little uncomfortable even mentioning this, except for the fact that the public needs to know that this effort, which has received a great deal of mainstream media attention, has actually confirmed to us from two inside sources that they have received extraterrestrial signals and have confirmed them as being extraterrestrial, and that they have become increasing in frequency and number. So you can make this sort of effort. I would say that, it's sort of a wrap-up of this, a few years ago I was meeting with Senator Claiborne Pell, who sort of epitomizes noblesse oblige in the United States Senate. And he wanted me to brief his staff on this issue. And he said, and at the time he was the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And a very nice, cute little story here. I was with him out in California doing a briefing for the Board of Noetic Sciences, which is Astronaut Mitchell's group. And he was there and wanting to get some information on this matter. And we went out on the patio under the stars. And I said, we have needed people for at least 50 or 60 years since we entered the space age to be ambassadors from Earth to these people. And you, as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, have been deprived of dealing with the ultimate foreign relations issue. And with that, I pointed to the stars above our head. And he looked at me through his horn-rimmed glasses and blinked, and he said, well, Dr. Greer, I'm afraid you may be right. I go, I am. And he said, well, what can we do? So here's what we can do. We have to get our officials to not only disclose the information, But we urgently need something as a counterbalance to the military response to this phenomenon that is diplomatic, ambassadorial, peaceful, and progressive-looking. This has not happened, and in that vacuum has stepped a military junta that has militarized the issue. It is a very dangerous thing. Now, we the people can change that. And the CSETI project, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, cseti.org, have expeditions where we're training people to do this. And we have been doing this sort of attempted contact and developing protocols and a framework for contact for a long time. And I think it's a very good question, because you have to go beyond a phenomenological analysis of this and say, well, look, if these are indeed intelligent life forms visiting this planet, there's this deafening silence from the human dimension, except the military response. And I think it is time for us to have a more progressive and enlightened human response to the present.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Before the next question, I just want to reiterate that we do have copies here of a petition that you can send to all of the leaders of the Canadian Parliament, if you wish. I have copies of it here available. It's a hard copy, and you can also go to Alfred Weber's website, exopolitics.com, and you can also download it from there and send it to your member of Parliament. Okay? It speaks to exactly the issue that...
I'd just like to add one thing to what Dr. Greer said. I've been on one of these CSETI expeditions. And I'd encourage anyone who has an interest to go to the website and look it up and maybe consider participating, because it's really a remarkable experience. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay, microphone.
Yes, my name is Donald Wilson. I've watched this for more than 50 years, and I'm not the least bit surprised. Most of what you said that I already know. And one of the few folks who have read the book by Jonathan Eisen, Suppressed Inventions, he goes through this whole thing that the gentleman has been talking about in very great detail. He also talks about renewable energy. Francisco Petchin made ability to turn water into hydrogen at will, so you don't have to have a tank on it. It's patented in the United States. It's been made available. And nobody has picked it up. I've been watching this from 48. I remember Dr. Major John Keyhole said, flying saucers are real. And I have my own theory of gravity and magnetism, in which I state that the gravity is not a suction, but a pressure coming from the stars. So I have a copy here if one of the guys would like it. And I'm really interested tonight, and I'm pleased that this has come forward.